ladies and gentlemen, welcome. We're extremely excited to be here today with Sheila Purim and Kevin Keegan from Illumina. We're excited because you guys are here to receive a Catalyst Award in the healthcare space. Illumina being a leading technology company in healthcare testing, you guys are enabling healthcare providers access to educational content for a new testing approach in therapy selection for oncology. And this has such a large impact because this is literally cancer patients and their lives. So first off, congratulations for your award and thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So I would love to learn more about what you guys are doing and the incredible work being done at Illumina. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I think to start explaining, I'll provide some background to explain that cancer fundamentally is a genetic disease. So cancer can be caused by hundreds of genes, and each cancer patient might be having underlying cause for the tumor that has developed in their bodies. And what is nice to see over these past years is that there is this new wave of therapies developed by pharma companies like BMS and Bayer and Lilly. And these are therapies that are targeting those specific genetic causes. They are called targeted therapies, and they are groundbreaking therapies that we have seen completely change the outcomes of these patients. Now, what is the challenge we see today is that in order for the patients to have access to these therapies, they need to be tested. They need to receive a genomic test that can assess all these genes, find that underlying mutation so that they can then be prescribed the appropriate therapy. So at Illumina, we have this vision that we want to enable as many labs as possible worldwide to be able to offer a test that can assess these genes, can find this mutation and help unlock these therapies that can be life-saving for patients. So we are currently developing a genomic test that is supposed to be distributed, accessible for thousands of pathology labs, that they can internalize and offer to their oncologists and their local patients.
Illumina's mission at its core is to unlock the power of the genome to improve human health. And in cancer, it has never been more evident than cancer in this space. To Sheila's point, it's the drivers of cancers are genetic mutations that lead to tumor development. And so we often use the term that cancer is a disease of a genome, of the genome. And so for that reason, we want to test and use genomic technology to enable better therapy decisions, to drive better precision medicine in healthcare in general. But in cancer, it's very specific because we can identify the root cause of a patient's tumor development and treat it with a targeted therapy. And that's really what the basis of our platform is so well suited for. So if you happen to be a patient in a care setting like MD Anderson or the Mayo Clinic, you have access to this type of testing at these top tier institutions. Most areas of the world don't have that kind of capability. What Illumina is enabling is that we can distribute a test that can reach all corners of the planet because cancer hits everywhere. And so what we really want to address is the community setting where cancer patients are typically diagnosed and treated. And that's where we want to move the test into settings closer to the patient. And that's really what the capability of our platform and our test for therapy selection.
That's excellent. So one of the questions I had for you, Kevin, was actually, what were the challenges that you guys were running into that led you to look outside the box and say a solution like Impartner for an experienced platform might work? And it sounds like that global distribution was part of that. Are there other things that were kind of holding you back or that caused you to look outside and find a solution for this?
A couple of things I would say. The first thing, when you think about Illumina's participation in this business, our technology platform has enabled this type of capability in large centralized service labs. The challenge with that is that unless you have local access to those types of labs, or to be able to send a test into one of those labs in a region like the US, you can have access to that already. The real question was, how can we ultimately start to spread the reach into the rest of the community setting? And that's really what led to us to, one, to further the development of a distributed test that can be internalized into community settings, but also to identify networks and tools that can help us with the outreach of our message, our position out into the community to reach all of these physicians, pathologists, oncology networks, and those types of things. So that's why these types of activities and marketing activities, and specifically even through our medical organization, to educate these organizations about the clinical utility of why we would use this type of test. Now, in all transparency, today, our test is sold into labs, into clinical labs that have to validate the test. We don't yet have a full FDA approval of the test, so that we have to make sure that we caveat all of this, that it has to still go into clinical labs to be validated. But our future roadmap is to launch fully validated, regulated clinical assays that can be used in labs all over the world.
You're opening up this amazing network, right, and bringing it to people's hometowns that are traditionally not known or not right next door to that lab, right? So that's such a powerful message in my mind, that network, that ecosystem, and that positioning that you're building to really outreach to these individuals. So Sheila, anything you would add to that?
Yeah, when we think a little bit about the stakeholders in the oncology community and how we are helping enable access to testing, I think step number one, which Kevin beautifully described, is enabling testing capacity, making sure as many labs worldwide as possible have access to our test, that they can internalize and they can offer this type of test to their community. Now, the next level is that the physicians, the oncologists, they need to be aware that this testing is now available, and they need to order this test to the patients. And it's very important that these oncologists are well educated on this type of test. They understand the utility, because this is a new approach. This is a change in the standard of care. And while some oncologists based in academic medical centers are already ahead, and usually they are the early adopters of something new like that, we want to make sure that all oncologists and the ones in community settings also understand the utility and start using these in their practice. So I see Impartner and the portal as a way to empower all these pathology labs with educational content on this type of test. So they have access to ebooks, infographics, slide decks, videos, examples of a clinical report for such type of tests, so that they can offer this type of education to their local physicians and local community.
That's fantastic. So, as I think about this, the collaboration approach that you just mentioned, collaboration is always one of the keys to success, right? But it sounds like the collaboration environment that you guys are providing has really changed the nature and the economics of what these oncologists experience and how they're presenting this. Can you share some examples, or do you have any examples on where that collaboration has impacted your business, or feedback that they've provided to you?
Yes, maybe I'll say something, and Kevin, feel free to chime in. But we do have example of some of our customers who are using the portal to leverage some of these educational materials. And as they launch their tests into their community, they are leveraging these materials to provide education to the local HCPs or healthcare providers.
And this is really the benefit, is that if we have expertise here about how to speak to this test, this methodology, the technology. When you put it into the hands of a lab, it's really difficult for them to fast forward the story out to the clinical community. So a tool like this, a mechanism for us to create an avenue to pass our information through that portal into the clinical community makes it so easy for them to just pass on this information and to help educate them on what it would be to use that. And then that helps with the engagement from the oncologist back to the lab to the pathologist, so that create that linkage between these professionals to create a seamless, accurate story about we're utilizing the technology for this clinical purpose.
Yeah, clear, concise communication is of the utmost importance, especially when it comes to medical tests, medical results, and what the results could be to help them accomplish the best outcome. So that's I can see how that would be extremely impactful. So is there anything that you guys would look at from the Illumina side that you would want to make sure if someone was looking to understand more fully why you guys looked for a solution for this and why it was important to your business, and someone that might be looking in the industry to accomplish similar results, what are some of the things that you would tell them to consider, Sheila?
I think it's the halo effect of leveraging your partners, your direct customers, and empowering them with tools so that they can offer education to their direct customers. And there is a halo effect and an economy of scale and an efficiency that is gained by this. And at the end, ultimately, it's how can you further spread information in an efficient way rather than just using your own direct channels. I think that's the value that I see, and a great way to partner synergistically with a customer where we are helping them and also helping their business. And at the same time, they are helping, and that helps Illumina ultimately. So it's very synergistic.
I appreciate that. We are so excited for what you guys are doing. I think there's probably not a person that could possibly watch this video that doesn't have a family member or a friend that's been impacted by cancer. So when you talk about something like this and the nature of the way you're delivering this to these communities and these individuals and these families, it's so amazing and outstanding to us. And that is, again, why we're so excited to present you guys with this award and thought leadership. So congratulations once again on your Catalyst Award, and thank you for the service and the great work that you guys are doing at Illumina.
Well,
thank you so much. Yeah, that's so nice. We appreciate.